Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of our program, At the Edge of the Unknown. Tonight's subject is Christmas and the Iron Crown. Mankind is no stranger to rituals, having conducted them in one form or another for at least as long as history has been recorded, and we continue them even to this day. The Christmas Day 800 AD was no exception, for it was on this day that Charlemagne, king of the Franks, would be crowned Emperor of Rome, and homage was paid to him by the very man that crowned him, Pope Leo III at St. Peter's Basilica. Even though it was only one day in history, this event was more significant than we can imagine. For you see, the Christians of that time believed that the emperor was called by God to be a defender of the faith and keeper of the peace. And both the Pope and Charlemagne sought to revive the Roman Empire, gone now for over 3 centuries, having been dissolved in 476 AD. Now this coronation was considered illegal by the Empress and the Byzantine Empire, but it was necessary for the people to accept the Western Empire's revival. And while the coronation was significant, so too was the crown, for legend has it that it was the Iron Crown of Lombardy that was placed upon the head of Charlemagne that day. And the crown was holy in its own right, because it was believed to have been created from a sacred relic from antiquity, a nail used in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Now this was propaganda at the highest level possible at the time. But throughout history, propaganda has been used to manipulate people and events to bring about a desired effect. And in the Dark Ages, perhaps it was even justifiable in order to bring hope to a world that was ruled by superstition. Because this crown would have been seen by those same superstitious people as a tie to a past long gone, but still dreamed of and idealized by those who longed for a better tomorrow. And this was an opportunity for Charlemagne and Leo to unite the people towards a common identity as the inheritors of a glorious empire. Now perhaps the crown really was made from a nail used in the crucifixion. But in a sense, the authenticity is irrelevant, because during those dark times it was the symbolism that really mattered. It was what Charlemagne represented that gave them hope. Though the consolidation of the power of the church and the king would soon plague those who believed what would be considered heresy, at this time, this alliance, perhaps, was the only way to drag the Europeans out of the Dark Ages and towards the rebirth of the Renaissance. But we can only speculate. And though we ourselves do not live in the Dark Ages, we still cling to our superstitions. We still perform rituals that make us feel safe and bring us comfort. Perhaps we, like the Franks of the Dark Ages, live closer than we may wish to admit to the edge of the unknown.